Hey guys, so for my first video I wanted to cover something by Red Ice TV, which is this super racist white supremacist online media platform that is run by this crazy Swedish guy and his wife, who you see on the screen, Lana Lokteff. I haven't seen a whole lot of debunks for them, but they're one of the big sort of gateways into the white nationalist and alt-right online communities. They've got like 250,000 subscribers on YouTube. So I want to do a debunk of one of their videos. This one is called Questions Liberals Can't Answer. So let's see if we can come up with some answers for Lana.
It's true. You just can't argue with a leftist. All the evidence on the planet won't be enough because they live in an alt universe. Liberals are very bad at debating because they never do it. Because they only talk to other self-affirming, emotional stroking liberals and have had zero opposition to challenge them.
Yeah, okay, we get it. Liberals are soy boys who cry under their quinoa.
They are caught with their pants down at the most basic questions. But people like myself are very comfortable arguing with opponents.
Oh my god, okay, we're gonna skip to the first question.
Why do you live in a white neighborhood?
I don't. Are all these questions just gonna be you making assumptions about who I am and where I live and what I think? Or are you gonna ask any actual challenging questions?
They may say, well, this town has plenty of diversity. Yeah, down there, not where you live, up here. Why aren't you living in an immigrant refugee part of town?
I am.
2. What percentage of America can be white? 60%, 40, 15, 2%? At what point is it acceptable?
Let me answer your question with a question. Why do you care? Could it be because you're racist?
3. At what point is it okay to have a border and immigration laws?
This point, because they already exist.
4. What percentage of the population do whites have to be before it's morally acceptable for them to be proud of their ancestors, their heritage?
Are people not proud of their ancestors and heritage already? I mean, I don't know about you, but I've got like multiple people in my family who give all their money to those Mormon Ancestry.com websites so they can go and figure out, oh, this is your great grandfather, this is where he came from, this is where he went, this is where his farm was, etc., etc. Personally, I find all that stuff really boring. I'm not interested in members of my family who are not contemporaries because I'll never know them, and frankly, their lives were kind of boring and sad. But I'm not quite sure exactly what you're asking here, Lana.
At what point can they advocate for their people with unions, orgs, and lobbyists?
Oh, I see what she's saying. Oh, so at what point can we have a national association of white people, etc., etc.? Well, that does exist, but unfortunately it's run by David Duke, who is a self-proclaimed Grand Wizard of the KKK. You see, majority groups don't need special interests to lobby on their behalf because they already dominate the power structure. That doesn't make any sense. You can't lobby yourself.
Just like every other group. 5. When is it okay for a white guy to say, I am a proud, straight, white male? When is...
Again, are people ashamed of being white, straight men? See, I don't know. Personally, I'm against all of this being proud of things that are not accomplishments. I think George Carlin got it right. Pride should be reserved for your accomplishments. What Lon is getting at is that people are proud to be gay or proud to be black or proud to be trans or whatever. The reason why there are all of these movements to try and instill self-esteem in people who are traditionally oppressed minorities is because they are traditionally oppressed. Why are you such a snowflake, Lana, that you need to be made to feel better even though you're a straight white woman with a big platform on the internet? Why are you so weak? It seems to me that you're the real soy boy here.
Is it okay for them to be loud and proud? 6. What is so wrong when European women want to have white children who look like them?
Nothing. There's nothing wrong with that. So one professor in New York said that there's something wrong with a white nuclear family, and now all of a sudden that's how everybody everywhere feels. This is another thing that they do all the time, right? Is they'll pick one thing that one crazy asshole professor said, and then all of a sudden that's what everybody on the left believes. Ben Shapiro does that a lot. This is what the left does. No, that's what one person who you've cherry-picked does. God damn it.
Instead of, ooh, your mixed race baby is so cute, how about, ooh, your little blonde blue-eyed baby is so adorable and you...
What? I'm sorry. Are there people out there who are attacking white babies and saying that they look? Who does someone come into your hospital room after you've given birth and say your baby is a monstrosity because it's white? No, people will always tell you that your baby is cute and adorable. What what kind of alternative reality do you live in? All we're saying is that people who are in interracial relationships should be respected and that there's nothing wrong with it. You know why? Because we don't care about race. You do.
Meek. 7. For legal immigration alone, 1 million plus a year come to America. That's like importing a large city every year. How many non European people need to be in the country before it's okay to say that's enough?
I'm interested. Maybe she would take offense to this, but I doubt she would be offended if those 1.7 million people were European. Is your issue with overpopulation or is it with too many people who aren't white? And if it is with too many people who aren't white, why do you care about the color of the skin more than the content of their character, what they might actually bring to the country? It's pretty difficult to do agriculture if you don't have illegal immigration. Sorry to say, because those are jobs that white people simply will not do. And not just white people, but people who are born in the United States who expect to be paid a certain amount of money for performing a task. You cannot pay them enough money to do those jobs. It's an unfortunate reality and it is exploitative on illegal immigrants. But the reality is the system doesn't work. It would fall apart if you actually got rid of illegal immigration. So to suggest that these people are taking something away or that they're somehow a drain, on the contrary, they are contributing and being exploited and paying into the system and getting nothing out of it except hate from people like you.
8. You liberals claim to be environmentalists, and yet you are not aware of the horrible environmental consequences of mass migration, not to mention the problem of limited resources
Oh my
and an
god.
overburdened
Look at it. They're
physical
playing the
infrastructure.
footage,
Yeah,
the
it used
stock
to be
footage of,
common
oh, the
knowledge of
scary.
but we have so much and we waste so much. So the solution is to import the entire third world so they too can have and waste much and enjoy a first world lifestyle. There used to be a time not long ago when lefties complained about overpopulation.
You know what you want to do if you want to stop overpopulation? Give people access to birth control, give women education, give them a chance to have careers and to do what they want with their lives. Because the reason why populations are not growing in the developed world is because when you give people options, they decide to pursue other things. The reason why why populations are growing so radically in undeveloped countries, or have in the past, is because of a lack of birth control, a lack of education, and a lack of opportunity. And all of a sudden, poof, you've got 8 kids, and now your whole life is just trying to feed them and keep them healthy so they can grow up. Overpopulation can be solved by giving people opportunity. You dipshit.
When white people were having babies, that is. But now they love huge populations of non Europeans making 8 kids each. So, Libs, you A-OK with Muhammad up in Minnesota and his 8 wives and 25 kids?
Oh my god, 8. Are you gonna. Do you have a link for this or a source or anything, or are you just making up racist shit? Because I don't know if you know this, Lana, but you're not allowed to marry multiple people in the United States or Canada or anywhere else in the West. I think you should be, by the way, as long as it's consensual, but you're not. So, again, I'm forced to ask you what the fuck you're talking about.
Living off of welfare paid for by mostly white people? Give them all your money then, stay out of mine. 9.
God.
Speaking of refugees, did you know there are people getting rich off the importing fake refugee business?
Yeah?
10.
Wait, that's the whole question? Jesus.
According to international law, refugees are supposed to go to the country nearest to them. So why isn't Israel and rich Gulf countries taking in any refugees?
Hey, she actually raised a serious issue. This is true. The rebuttal to this is, so what? We're just supposed to let these people die? We're supposed to just allow there to be a humanitarian crisis because nobody will take them? Sorry, Lana, but we've learned the lessons of history. When you turn away refugees, history does not smile on you.
Why must they be flown at our expense way to Sweden, Australia, and North America?
Or, sail across the Mediterranean on extremely dubious boats and end up dead on beaches. Whatever.
11. About those refugees. Do you even know how many are actually fleeing from catastrophic conditions and not just their own poverty? Like this much. I mean, come on, all those Mexicans seeking asylum. My white sister lives in Mexico.
uh, I love how when Lana, her whole thing is that she cannot help herself. She contradicts herself constantly. When when she wants to portray non-white people as violent and dangerous, you get that stock footage of people, throwing garbage in the streets, throwing rocks at embassies. But when she wants to portray non-white countries as beautiful and idyllic, and why don't you stay there, you get this Mexican tourism video. The fact that she doesn't have any self-awareness of how much she contradicts herself is truly alarming.
Go. Plenty of space and options there. White liberals will say, well, it's okay if people are fleeing poverty. We have to give them a chance at a better life.
Yeah, that's right. If someone wants a chance at a better life, why shouldn't they have an opportunity to legally immigrate or claim asylum? Why are you against this?
To become surgeons, inventors, and rocket scientists in European nations. Says who? Are you saying they can't do it without white people?
No, we're saying they can't do it in countries that are depressed and violent and have been subjugated for many years.
That they need us to succeed? Well, what's wrong with their people? That's supremacist.
Oh my God. This is like the old person who's like, well, why can't Africans just make Africa a better place? It seems to me that if they're equal, they should have an equally successful continent. Yeah, part of the reason is because they've been exploited by white people.
12. You want to help people? Why don't you go help them in their country? But you all never care to help European nations when they're in need.
What? Do you not remember the 90s? The breakdown of Yugoslavia? A lot was done to help those people.
Why is that? Or are you saying they're never in need? And why is that?
Are you saying that because European countries are rich, that means that white people are better than other people? That seems to me to be what you're implying. Ah, this bitch.
13. To all those filthy rich celebrities making anti-white trash films, why aren't you taking in any refugees into your house surrounded by a wall in an upscale, gated community? 14.
Yeah, well, hey, look, Lana raised another point. I think that that's a fair point. Too often there are like champagne sipping liberals who are super rich who fly around and insist that poorer liberals or middle class liberals pick up all of the slack for them, but they don't do much themselves. I don't want to say anything about anyone in particular, but I will say this. Where I live in Canada, when we were accepting Syrian refugees, there was such an outpouring of support and people offering places for them to stay, clothes, food, lessons to help them learn English and integrate so that they could find employment, that the government actually had a hard time marshaling it. So I don't know about where you live, but where I live, there's really not that much hypocrisy about this. We did a pretty good job of finding ways to accommodate people. It's not that hard if you're compassionate and, not racist.
14. Who made you the morality police, judging on your self-righteous high horse, pretending to be God, saying what is morally right and wrong?
Oh my God. See, this is another thing they always do. If you make an argument that what they're saying is immoral because it transparently is, her only problem with immigrants is that they're non-European. That's pretty brazenly clear, and that makes her a racist, and that makes her immoral. If you say that, all of a sudden, oh, you're the morality police. No, I'm someone who has made an argument.
I will answer that one for you. No one. You have zero moral authority.
But plenty of logical authority.
Remember, boys and girls, there is nothing wrong with Europeans loving and preferring European people and stopping the wave of mass immigration and fake refugees into their country. No other people would put up with this.
Right, but that's what makes Western values so desirable. That's why people want to come to the West, is because they know that here they'll have a chance to be accepted, they'll have religious freedom, they'll have a chance to be successful and to make a better life for their children. Why are you against that? You seem to think that white people are better or inherently good, but you deny all of the good things about Western values because Western values to you is just code for white people.